Hi and welcome. This is kind of a quick breakdown of the Chaos Dwarfs DLC, whether or not it's worth the price increase. Obviously, when we're talking about, if we're talking about like whether or not it's worth it, whether or not it has value, the first thing I would say before I start, before we go into a little bit of the details, is that value is subjective. So something that has value for you might not have the same amount of value or even have just value in general for somebody else. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. But I did want to make this video just real quick to give my opinion on whether or not this DLC is worth it, and to kind of put in a few quick points, make a quick video for somebody to just like quickly watch and make a decision on whether or not they should get this video. This is especially for people who are, they're really on the fence. There's not much time left right now for the 10% discount. And I don't know if that 10% or that discount was also on top of the other third-party discounts that you might find on other sites. They're also kind of on the same timeline of, okay, this sale or this discount is gonna go very, very soon. So I want to put this out before then. Really quick, I'd say, the long and short of it is that, the DLC is not worth the price that it's going for on Steam, especially if you are a US customer. But it could be worth looking at third-party sites. What I would say in general is that this DLC is worth the same price as other faction DLC that are going on right now. So right now, this DLC is before discount is going for $25. Other DLC, other faction DLC is going for 19 US dollars. I'd say if you can get it at 19 US dollars, that's value. You're getting it. It's an acceptable price. That's what I have set as kind of my baseline. I've said that any faction DLC I'm going to get is going to be $19 for Total War Warhammer 3. There's precedent for that. The other faction DLC have given more for that price. The Chaos Dwarfs DLC has a lot of unique mechanics, but it's not $25 worth. It's not at that level. And the reason why is because the mechanics, again, it's a very, I just want to say it is a very, very fun, enjoyable DLC for the type of player who likes complexity, for the type of player who likes managing all these like different mechanics and these different resource values and going through and clicking and sending convoys and fighting with your AI opponents and upgrading this and this sort of thing. But all these mechanics have been used or have been reused from existing factions. Okay, and the army roster is very varied. It's very unique. It provides a very interesting, challenging play style. But orcs. The orc laborers are from the orc warriors or the beast orcs. The goblin laborers are from the goblin spearmen. The chaos dwarf warriors are from the dwarf warriors, right? They've done a very heavy reskin and it looks amazing, but it's technically, if we're being super anal about it, it is technically a reskin. They have their own unique units, like what are they called? These guys, the bull centaurs. The Kadai Fireborn seem very unique. I couldn't find any other unit that shared the same characteristics, but the other units are more or less, they share similar characteristics. So Creative Assembly, of what they've done is they've been very smart. It's intelligence. It's amazing. I think they should do it more often. They've taken what exists already in the game and they've put it all together and they've created an entirely new experience for the player. and it's a very enjoyable experience. It's not just like a rehash, like a kind of a lazy thing. They just said, we have all these things, let's just put it together and we'll make a really unique kind of experience for the player. They've done that. Now the thing is that they've done that, but the and that's allowed them to save time. It's allowed them to save effort and probably money as well. The thing is that in conjunction with that, they've also offered a price increase, which I don't think makes sense. You have done a cost-saving strategy, and in an ideal capitalist society, I love capitalism, but in an ideal capitalist society, I like idealistic capitalism. In an ideal capitalist society, those those savings should be transferred to the consumer. The problem is companies don't tend to find value in sending that to the consumer other than goodwill and market share. And I think Creative Assembly already has a monopoly on this kind of thing. So I don't think they see, and Sega as well, it probably, I don't know if it's Creative Assembly or if it's Sega, but the fact of the matter is that this DLC has a lot of value, is a lot of fun, but it's and it's smartly reused mechanics and character models or unit models, but that should be transferred to the customer at the end of the day. The customer needs to see those savings as well. It's not just about you saving money and then increasing the price. Some people are saying that inflation is a thing, and inflation is a thing. The current price of the DLC is $25. I calculated the inflation. If you calculate inflation, the inflation comes up to $22.50. That's the amount that the current DLC is going for with the 10% discount price. I'll bring it up over here. Okay, so you have the oh, this is the Canadian version. 1 second. 1 second. So the Chaos Dwarf DLC right now, where is it? Is going for $22.50 after sale, as you can see. All right, so $22.50 right here. That's before or that's after the promotion. It's used, or they've priced it at $25. Now that's like what, $2.50 extra. Some people might say, look, that's not that big of a deal. You're kind of making a big thing out of that. And you know what? They might be right. That's like the price of gum. But again, if it was inflation, they'd be pricing it at $22.50, not $25. So it's not solely about inflation. What they've done is they've kind of, they've increased their margins by $2.50, and they've probably reduced their costs and the time and the amount of effort that they put into it. And so it just seems like again, it's not a bad thing that they've done that. You don't need to build everything from scratch. I'm just saying that you've saved your time, you've saved effort, and that's awesome, and you've created this really amazing experience. It's a very they were creative. They're creative in doing so, and they're creative in finding a way for the experience to be unique to the faction. Again, those by being creative like that, as a customer, I'd like to see those cost savings for myself. Everyone's doing badly. Not only Creative Assembly, Creative Assembly is doing quite well. They're building a new sale, but maybe Sega's doing badly. Maybe they need to pay their employees. I don't know what the situation is, but everyone's doing that. So that's what I would have to say in general. Just a quick thing that I want to put out. I tried to record a much larger video, but I think just keeping it short like this is more important. So is it worth it? It's not worth the price that's going for on Steam. You can probably find better better deals by looking at these sites, these tracker sites that kind of track other websites. So you have a list of options to look through. This is there any deal, and this is GG.deals. These are both viable things to look into. but that's but essentially I'd say look into that first, and then that'll be something that you should that'll give you the best value for money. Otherwise, if you want to send a message, just don't buy the DLC at all, and that kind of sends a message to CA like that saying, look, we don't like you increasing your price, we don't like you increasing, doing this, or to Sega or whoever it is, we don't like this this practice, and I'm not gonna be an additional sales figure for you to showcase to your shareholders, saying that, oh, look, we sold this much to customers and this sort of thing. You can say, look, the biggest message you can send is, I'm not going to buy this. But if you really want to buy this DLC, just don't get it at the price that it's going for on Steam right now. Get it for the same amount that the Tomb Kings and the Vampire Counts DLC is going for. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this. I hope this was of help for you and for anyone else. And if you're watching this after the fact, again, after the 10% discount, I'm sorry I wasn't in time for you, but hopefully this gives you enough information for when you make your purchase, whether now or at a later date. Thanks for watching. Bye.